little bit of a drop showing on the Ethereum chart. Is it going to get much worse for Ethereum in the shorter term, or is something much more exciting looming just around the corner? Let's jump in to what is going on the Ethereum chart. Guys, so this is a 1 hour chart for Ethereum, and we have had a little bit of interesting things happening since I last brought you a video at the end of last week. When we broke up through here, we noticed that we had this accumulation zone here, which every time we dipped into, we eventually then had this massive push towards the upside, showing that this particular zone right now is a significant one. And if we are to revisit it, then I would see that we are probably going to be pushing perhaps out of it. And because that would be previous lines of resistance, which was here, then gets flipped into support, which is here, and potentially we would then revisit it for something like this scenario. Now, one thing that's worth noting is that over the weekend when we were jumping in to this particular zone here, between sort of like $1,700 and nearly up to $1,800, just shy of $1,800, we can see that we were finding significant resistance in this area. Now, jumping out to the 4 hour, you can see that going back, I had this drawn in because this was clearly a significant line in the past where we dropped down into this zone multiple times, bouncing out of it, showing that this was previously a significant line of support. Previous lines of support flip into future lines of resistance. Now, what we're seeing down here, and that's just happened, it's quite significant, is we did have this sort of pattern for a while. It did get kind of invalidated by this significant drop down into around $1,360. But what is really going on right now, I think that we're sort of seeing right now with crypto, and you can see that usually it will hold patterns or technical analysis quite nicely. We have got a lot of volatility jumping in and out right now, showing that there is sort of a lot of indecision going on in this market. And actually what we've just seen, literally in the last hour, where we're sort of showing a bit of support coming in here, does sort of suggest to me that we will be seeing a bounce back up towards the sort of $1,700 level. Again, if we rejected it at this area, then we're probably going to push further down. But I do foresee that unless something significant happens in terms of some sort of drastic piece of news, Elon Musk cracks into Twitter and starts posting some crazy content, then I think right now we're still going to continue to be in this falling wedge pattern. Now, as much as I don't really like technical analysis, particularly for Forex, which is what I trade most of the time, for crypto it's slightly different. It does respect a lot more the technical analysis, and this does mean that we're more often than not likely to break towards the upside of this pattern, at which point we will be revisiting this pink zone through here. The more times we're running into this zone, the more chance we have of breaking through it. But I do think that we are potentially going to put in a double top here and push back down towards the sort of lows that we've seen previously. Now, whether that is all the way down to sort of $1,200, maybe even $1,000, I would be unsure. In my opinion, I think we're going to hit this sort of bottom area through here. Let's zoom out and make it all a little bit clearer. Now, what I think really, guys, we know that this is a significant buying area because of what's happened in the past. If we were to return down towards these levels, I think that we could well see support finding in at around $1,300. Now, previously, obviously, we did have this massive dump below that, but I would suggest that we would probably be looking to put in maybe a higher low than this low down here. Putting in a higher low here would be ultimately extremely bullish for Ethereum, even if we did drop down what a potential level of around sort of 17% or so. Obviously, it's very approximate because we're looking at zones, not specific lines in the sand, because it's more straightforward if we're looking at, because it's much more straightforward to look at zones, guys, because nothing goes exactly by the dollar to anything unless people are getting very lucky in their predictions. So I think we're going to have a bounce, and then we're going to return to this zone, and probably on the third time of asking, we're going to see something like that. That's when we are starting to look at our bull run. Now, the reason I feel it's going to get rejected at this level again, guys, whereas before maybe I was a bit more bullish, is we are getting these big wicks showing that there is strong bearish pressure every time we're getting into this zone here, okay? So I don't think we're quite ready to be breaking through right now and jumping on to higher levels. Now, jumping across to Bitcoin, something fairly evident kind of showing up here on the 4 hour chart. We can see roughly across here a fairly substantial sort of rising channel. Potentially we're going to see something like this play out, and then we're going to revisit down towards the sort of 1900, down towards the $19,000 line, which is going to drag Ethereum with it. And that, I feel, is when we're going to start to see nice double bottom, and then we're looking into a crypto bull market. Could be wrong, guys, so go away and do your own research. Don't rely on exactly what I say. Don't rely on what anyone says on YouTube. If you're asking someone exactly when you should be buying and selling, then you should probably be looking into it more yourself rather than just relying on someone else to give you the answers. But if you're relying 100% on someone else to give you the answer whether you should be buying or selling, maybe you shouldn't be in crypto at all. Just make sure you understand what could happen potentially with any of the cryptos that you're buying. There's obviously downside risk, so be very, very cautious. Don't ever use any more money than you can afford to lose, guys. Hope you enjoyed that quick Ethereum update for today. If you did, make sure you smash the thumbs up button. Thanks very much for doing that. And if you're new to the channel and you want to know more about Ethereum, Bitcoin and some other cryptos, then make sure you subscribe to be kept up to date with all of the latest happening. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you very soon with another video. Bye-bye.